Well, the fantasy football season is finally upon us, but unfortunately for a lot of managers, tight ends underperformed in week 1. Notable names like Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, Dalton Kincaid, Trey McBride, and Evan Ingram all put up less than 10 fantasy points in their respective games and didn't really deliver for their fantasy managers. But every fantasy football season, there's a series of breakout stars that no one sees coming, who are able to take over the league out of nowhere. If we're judging based off of week 1, Ravens tight end Isaiah Likely might just be that breakout star. In week 1 versus a very good Chiefs defense, Likely had 12 targets, 9 receptions, 111 yards, and a receiving touchdown in a really close game. To make matters even more unexpected, Likely isn't even rostered in most redraft leagues, leaving many people scrambling to the waiver wire this week to try to get him on their team. In week 1, Isaiah Likely put up 26.1 fantasy points, which is a game changer from the tight end position and could potentially be a league winner going forward. Plus, his quarterback, Lamar Jackson, has had a history of supporting elite tight ends in fantasy football. And if Ravens tight end Mark Andrews isn't going to be as involved in the passing game as we thought he was, which, to be fair, may be an overreaction, this could still be setting up Isaiah Likely for insane volume going forward. If you're one of the lucky ones that's able to add him from waivers, congratulations. You have a tight end you can start every single week. If Likely can continue these fantasy performances, the third-year man out of Coastal Carolina University could be headed for a huge role in this Ravens offense, and you want him on your fantasy team. Now let's look at some of the film from the Chiefs game to dissect how Isaiah Likely was truly able to dominate in week 1. So starting off with a bit of the film, on this first play we're going to immediately see Chiefs safety Justin Reed come up to the line of scrimmage, which suggests that he'll be one-on-one with Isaiah Likely, which he ends up being. This obviously presents a size matchup for Isaiah Likely, and he's going to run a really nice physical route on this play. He's going to dip in and then break out really violently on Justin Reed, using his physicality and the size advantage to really break outside and again physically break on that route, creating separation, leaving Justin Reed in the dust, and he is wide open. So with Isaiah Likely, we see a tight end who has a really unique blend of size and athleticism, a trait that makes a lot of receiving tight ends really great in today's league that he does possess. And we do see him get the better of Justin Reed here, like he did to the whole Chiefs defense all day. But this is just the first play of many, as we'll see. We'll go ahead and start the play here. Justin Reed makes his way to the line of scrimmage. We're going to see Likely as the ball is snapped, break in, and then here it is. He's already flipped his hips really well on Justin Reed, who's still going that way. Hasn't flipped his hips yet, so he's already in the disadvantage in the man-to-man route. Isaiah Likely beats him. Uses the physicality to flip by him, flips his hips, and wide open for the pass from Lamar Jackson. We'll see it again. Really phenomenal stuff there. Here it is. Justin Reed's going to come to the line of scrimmage. And there's the physical route. Just really, really nice use of twitchiness and the hips on the route. Just really lost Justin Reed there, and just using that physicality and the size as well as the athleticism and the speed to get wide open there. And you don't see many tight ends do that well like Isaiah Likely did. And we're going to see a lot of that route running prowess throughout the entire game, as well as that physical ability. So on this next play, we're going to see a variety of routes. We're going to see Mark Andrews run basically a seam. I believe this is Rashad Bateman running a crosser behind the linebacker Bolton here. And then Zay Flowers is going to motion over here, and then towards when the ball is snapped, he's going to motion back, run across when the ball is snapped, and run a wheel route towards Trent McDuffie, the corner over there. And Isaiah Likely is right here. He's going to block for a couple seconds and then break down in the last second as a check down for Lamar Jackson when nothing else is open. He's going to be that safety blanket, that check down option for Lamar when none of the routes get open really at all. And Lamar's going to hit him, and he's going to get some run after catch as well. So just an example of the Ravens really involving him in the passing game and making him a legitimate option for Lamar Jackson on any given down. So the play starts. Zay Flowers in motion here, and motion back over. The ball is snapped right here. And we'll wait for the routes. And right here, this is when Isaiah Likely is about to break out in the flat. Rashad Bateman's covered by this safety, this linebacker. Trent McDuffie's taking care of the wheel route here. And then we also have another safety linebacker on Mark Andrews. So basically every other route is locked up. There's not really enough time for the linebacker to break down here into the flat for Isaiah Likely. So we're going to see him come open and get the reception here. So we'll unpause the video. Breaks off, gets the reception, and some yards after catch as well. We'll see another replay. Flowers in motion across. They're going to motion him back, and the ball's going to snap when he gets to the other side of the formation. Likely blocks 56 Karlaftis, then breaks off, gets the pass from Lamar, gets some yards after catch, showing that speed, athleticism, and good touch. So this next play is going to be a pretty simple pitch and catch from Lamar to Isaiah Likely. We're going to see Mark Andrews run a seam, and then Isaiah Likely sit down and kind of just a hitch route, pretty soft And the coverage is soft enough, and Mark Andrews runs deep enough to where it stretches out the defense, and Isaiah Likely is left with a pretty nice hole in the zone coverage, and is able to get some yards after the catch as well. So really not much to this play. The defense is stretched too thin, and Isaiah Likely finds a hole in the zone. Lamar hits him, solid play. Another quality touch for Likely, which ended up getting him so many fantasy points as this legitimate option in the Ravens offense. So here the ball is going to be snapped right now, and then we'll see this Chiefs defender being stretched up as well as a safety. They're kind of sticking with Mark Andrews right now just enough to where Lamar is already making this throw towards Likely right here. He has enough space where it can be a simple check down right here, makes the throw, has enough space, yards after catch, solid stuff. We'll see it again, really just simple. Karlaftis, defensive end back in space, kink it back to Likely, pitch and catch, pretty simple. So here in the red zone, we're going to see our next play. Here's Likely lined up on the right side of the offensive line. Zay Flowers is going to run a deeper route and take the safety this way, leaving just a couple defenders over here in the flat. And Isaiah Likely is going to run out and then kind of a curl right about here. And what I really want to focus on, since this is just a pretty simple pitch and catch again, is what Likely does after the catch. And after the catch, Likely is going to do such a good job of creating space for himself to get yards after the catch in a really advantageous position to be able to get past defenders, get extra yards, and in essence, more fantasy points. This athleticism makes him really valuable as an asset in the Ravens passing offense. The ball snaps, Zay Flowers down the field, Isaiah Likely settles in right there. Really nice move after the catch, good juke on Drew Tranquill, and puts himself in a great position to get yards after the catch. Just really did a great job getting to the outside of Drew Tranquill, putting the defender on an angle where he couldn't pursue immediately, and getting a lot of extra yards. Let's see that again. So Likely makes reception, bounces outside. Drew Tranquill is not ready for how athletic Likely is, and is able to get a bunch more yards right there. That was awesome. So on this next play, Likely is going to be on a seam route, and he's going to sneak past the defense in the zone coverage. The safeties are going to rotate right when the play starts, leaving one defender back deep, truly able to defend the deep pass. And it looks like Isaiah Likely has a step on the zone defense. He's found a hole in between the defenders, and this could be a really big chunk play. But unfortunately, Lamar Jackson, not the best throw here, and Likely doesn't do a great job up top. So we'll see exactly how that unfolds. So as the play starts right now, we're going to see Likely exactly how he gets past the defense. The safety is rotated down here, leaving an open space right here for Likely on the crosser. Nick Bolton's eyes are going towards the middle of the field, not where Likely's going. Likely's going for this open space right here, which the safety is rotated out of. The safety, Chamari Connor, is asked to pick up the slack, basically, of where the safety is rotated down from. Now they only have one deep defender. So Isaiah Likely right now, in theory, has beaten the defense, and this should be a long touchdown. But unfortunately, the throw is not perfectly on target, and Isaiah Likely doesn't do a good job of dominating up top at the catch point. So we're going to see this here. He calls for the football, and just really not a great ball, and he doesn't really get a full jump in, isn't able to really dominate at the point of attack with the high point of the football. So really not a great executed play from Jackson to Likely there. And that's going to happen sometimes, but we'll see it again. Likely behind Nick Bolton has beaten the entire defense, but Chamari Connor does a great job closing in really quickly on Likely. It makes a play on the football, isn't able to come up with a pick, obviously, but really not the best play. And overall, a really good play from the safety Chamari Connor of the Chiefs. So this next play was the highlight of the night. Basically, we're going to see a breakdown of the pocket pretty quickly from the Ravens here. Likely is going to be on a dig route underneath the linebackers and going to stretch upfield. And he's going to have to come back from the football because Lamar Jackson is scrambling out of a rapidly disintegrating pocket and really isn't able to make a clean throw exactly where he wants to put it. So Isaiah Likely is going to come down the field, but then has to come back to the football because he's really Lamar's last option. Because of the pocket collapsing around him, Lamar isn't able to throw that far down the field on this particular play. So where he scrambles out of, Likely is his closest target that he can see. Basically heaves up a prayer and Likely has to come back to the football. So we'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. The ball is snapped. Likely in the middle of your field running underneath those linebackers, and there's the pressure. So Lamar Jackson's forced to scramble, and here is Likely. He is now turning upfield to beat this linebacker. Lamar Jackson's getting out into this open space here to try to make a play happen, which is exactly what he does. And so this ball is thrown, and it's in the air right now, and Isaiah Likely turns his head and sees he has to come back to the football. Nick Bolton has not turned his head yet. So Isaiah Likely has the advantage here, knows he has to come back to the football, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Makes his way back, makes the reception, makes Nick Bolton miss, down the sideline using that speed, and then this is the nice move. Ducks back at the last second. Brian Cook not able to make the play from the safety position. Absolutely insane jukes there, as well as high football IQ, keeping his head on a swivel and coming back to the football. We'll see it again with less pauses. We'll see exactly how this pocket broke down for Lamar. So the Chiefs bring 4 defensive linemen, and they do a great job getting pressure pretty quick. Lamar Jackson has to scramble out of the pocket, and there's a throw. Likely comes back to the football. There's the juke on Nick Bolton. Really shows the athleticism, and then Brian Cook in pursuit ducks back and does a really nice stutter step, stop and start move there by the goal line. Brian Cook goes flying, and Isaiah Likely just walks into the end zone. So really great moves after the catch from Likely there. As you can see, I'm in our 2024 Fantasy Trading Room Smashup Fantasy Sports League. This is an entirely new concept of how to play fantasy football. For starters, you have your player budget. Since there's only one more game going on tonight, these are all the players I could have added to my lineup if I need a last-second switch. Like I did because I had Christian McCaffrey in, I selected Breece Hall at the last second, and his price was $7,500 to put him in my lineup. And as you can see, my team didn't do too well this week. I only had about 45 points because Amon-Ra, Jamar Chase, Dalton Kincaid all underperformed this week. But I think if I roll with the same squad next week, we might be doing a little bit better. What makes Smashup so awesome is that you can apply these power-ups to your players. Let's take a look at a couple examples. Speed Demon here, if the select player has a reception of 40 yards or more, this card is worth 30 fantasy points. Think of a guy like Tyreek Hill who had an 80-yard touchdown reception this week. That could be absolutely huge for your lineup. Or even something simple like Catching Fire. For the selected player, each reception counts as 3 points. That's absolutely huge for fantasy. I'm going to go ahead and add starting running back to Breece Hall, who I've just subbed in for Christian McCaffrey, who was just pronounced out. This is a pretty simple one. Your starting running back gets a 1.5 times multiplier to their score. That's going to be huge because I think Breece Hall is going to be great tonight. He's going to catch a lot of receptions like he did last year, so I'm really excited to put that on him and run up my score hopefully in the league, put myself in a better standing. But as you can see, there are a ton of cards you can take advantage of and play really strategically to get your lineup as many points as possible when you play against your friends. I mean, look at this one. Bruising Bell Cow. Each rushing attempt by your running back is worth 1 point. Think of a player like Christian McCaffrey or Jonathan Taylor. Guys who don't have much competition in the backfield, if they get 20 plus carries, this could be an absolutely huge card to have in your deck. So as you can see, again, you do have a card budget. Each week, you can spend that money on different cards you want to apply to different players in your lineup. And again, this is free. This is super easy to use. I mean, it didn't take me much time to set up and get to learn the ropes at all. And it's been a lot of fun so far playing with my friends. Although from the way things went this week, I may need to shake up my lineup a bit going forward. The cards and power-ups make the game so different and so exciting. You never know what's going to happen next, and it's been a blast so far playing Smashup Fantasy. Again, if you guys want to join, there should be a link in the description to join a league at Smashup Fantasy Sports, and you might even get to play with some of our FTR fantasy football experts. It's free. It's easy to learn, it's super fun, and I suggest you get in the league as fast as possible. Again, the website is called Smashup Fantasy Sports. Go ahead and make your league today. This play, we're going to see Isaiah Likely running it out, as well as the receiver down here running a really deeper route, and that's going to drag the corner Jalen Watson upfield. But when the safety help comes over the top for the receiver, Watson isn't able to flip his hips around in time to catch Likely, who runs a really nice outside route and makes a simple reception here. So we'll go ahead and watch it. Likely on the right side of the offensive line. There's the reception, and good stuff there. Good route from Likely, using the hips especially to get open there. But again, here's Likely right here. And throw from Lamar. Jalen Watson isn't able to get back in time, and good stuff. So this next play in the red zone, here's Isaiah Likely right here lined up. He's going to make his way on a dig, and Flowers, I think over here, is going to be on a curl. And when the play starts to break down, they're going to both do two different things. Flowers is going to come across this way, and Likely to fill the open space that Flowers is left with the defender is going to make his way back to the corner of the end zone, making a really nice adjustment mid-play. The routes look good, and it really is an open receiver for Lamar to hit in Isaiah Likely. Unfortunately, the ball isn't that great, and Likely is forced to try to make a really difficult catch that he's not able to make, but a really complex route that Likely ran there. Really nice job filling out where the defenders were and falling into that open zone back there in the back of the end zone. Really should have been a touchdown. Likely was open, but Lamar wasn't able to hit him there, so we'll see it. Likely, second from the top, comes in, and then right here again, we're going to see Likely. As Flowers comes in, there's no defender back here anymore. He follows him, so Likely is going to fall back into this open space and really be pretty wide open. So doing a really nice job of getting separation there. Likely falls back in the open space. Lamar just not a good enough ball where Likely can come down with that. Really should have been a better placed ball towards the corner of the end zone. But we'll see it again here before we get to our last play. Ball snapped. Lamar plenty of time in the pocket. Really good pocket. And the ball just isn't where it needs to be. And Isaiah Likely unfortunately hurt on that play as well. but a really nice job getting open, feeling out the defense from Likely. This was the last play of the game. The play that Isaiah Likely, did he get his foot in? Did he not? On this, what would have been a game-tying touchdown pretty much. So Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely going to be running pretty much the same way. They're both going to settle in the back of the end zone here. And by nature of where Zay Flowers is, he's going to draw some defenders, and Isaiah Likely is going to be left really wide open in the back of the end zone. So Lamar does have an open receiver again in Likely. So we're going to see how this plays out. As the pocket does collapse, Lamar has to dance around, create some time for himself in the pocket, and he's going to try to hit Likely, who makes a really nice catch, but the edge of his toe is on the out-of-bounds line as it looks from the replay, and just a really tough way to lose this game. But Likely doing a really nice job, again, feeling out the zone defense, putting himself in an open spot, a spot where he's going to be wide open for Lamar Jackson to throw this ball to him. So, again, just doing a really nice job filling out the zone defense. He's an athletic young tight end that is a legitimate part of this Ravens passing game, which we'll get into later. But here's the play. We're going to see Zay Flowers, Isaiah Likely on the right side, and right here, this is what's important. This defender right here is still towards Zay Flowers, leaving this part of the field. The linebacker here isn't really feeling Likely at the back of the end zone. He hasn't really seen him back there yet, so Likely is able to get to this spot, and this defender is frozen by Zay Flowers. He's trying to lock him up there. As the play continues, Lamar dancing around the pocket, tries to get to him last second, and he's forced just out of bounds with that toe on the line. And we'll see that again, obviously, without the pauses. Likely on the left side of your screen now. Lamar, tough pocket, got to dance around. Good blocking from Justice Hill. And just on the line with his toe. Really unfortunate way to end the game, but what a game from Isaiah Likely. I mean, showing the separation ability, showing the athletic ability. Did a really nice job on all parts of the field, on all different routes. So he will be a part of this Ravens passing game moving forward. So what exactly did we see from Isaiah Likely in Game 1? I think you saw exactly what you wanted to see. A young, athletic tight end who's able to get open and is a big part of the scheme in this Ravens offense in the passing game for Lamar Jackson, who really has supported elite fantasy tight ends in the past, and I think he will continue to do so. He might even have multiple this year with Mark Andrews still in the fold. But from a purely fantasy football perspective, Isaiah Likely had 12 targets. After a week 1 where a lot of tight ends disappointed, you're going to want to chase the volume and chase the targets, and Isaiah Likely had both of those, with 12 targets and 9 receptions. So the volume is there, and we just watched the film. The talent is there, the athleticism is there, the after-the-catch ability is there for him to get a lot of yards, and for him to continue to grow his role in this Ravens offense as time goes on. This might not even be his ceiling. He may get better. We don't know. So if you need a tight end, or really just want another playmaker on your fantasy team, Isaiah Likely is absolutely worth a pickup in your leagues. It may be really hard to get him, but you may as well try, because there's a good chance he's not stopping here. Expect more elite fantasy performances from Isaiah Likely, and yes, I said elite. He was elite this week. There's no telling where his ceiling is right now. Any tight end that's able to garner 12 targets in a game should be on your fantasy radar to start. So if you don't have a good enough starting tight end right now, or are starting to doubt the guy you just drafted, maybe consider picking up Isaiah Likely. It'll be worth it. By the end of the season, he could even be the number 1 receiving option over Zay Flowers and even over Mark Andrews, who only had 2 targets in this game on the Ravens offense. Don't underestimate the true power that waiver wire league winners have in fantasy football. He could guide you to a fantasy championship with ease. It's not time to be hesitant. It's not time to overlook the week 1 performances. Isaiah Likely is here to stay. He has the talent, and the Ravens offense would be crazy not to give him as much volume as they did this week with how well he performed. He and Lamar seem to have pretty good chemistry so far, and I think it'll only get better as the season goes on, and he is a legitimate fantasy tight end 1 until further notice. So again, pick him up if you can, maybe even try to trade for him if he's already rostered in your league, but try to get him by any means necessary. He is in tight end 1 territory, and from what we've seen so far, from what we can judge off of week 1, he may not slow down. He looks to be one of the top targets in this Ravens offense. I was especially encouraged by the elusiveness he showed, both on the touchdown grab and that little curl route he had getting around Drew Tranquil. I was really impressed with the way he was able to create space and avoid defenders en route to that touchdown and en route to that about 10 to 15 yard gain he had. This is rare athleticism from a position that regularly requires physicality, something that Isaiah Likely has as well. Overall, fantasy-wise, this is super promising for Isaiah Likely and the Ravens. Go pick him up off waivers if you're able to. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Joe, and this is Fantasy Trading Room.